Why medieval people believed cats were evil. A belief that twisted fear, superstition, and survival. For centuries, cats weren't adored, they were feared. In medieval Europe, people whispered that they carried dark magic, served witches, and even walked beside the devil himself. But how did a harmless animal become a symbol of pure evil? The truth is stranger than the myth. Long before medieval Europe labeled cats as evil, ancient beliefs shaped how animals were interpreted. In a world where omens, spirits, and signs explained the unexplainable, animals with unusual behaviors were treated with suspicion. Cats, silent, nocturnal, and fiercely independent, became easy candidates for fear. Their glowing eyes in torchlight seemed supernatural. Their ability to hunt unseen felt uncanny. And in a society with little scientific understanding, this quiet unpredictability fed the belief that cats belonged to the realm of the mysterious and possibly the demonic. Religion shaped medieval Europe more than any other force. In Christian symbolism, animals were often moralized. Lambs were pure, serpents were wicked. Cats, especially black cats, fell into a gray zone. They appeared in several early Christian writings as symbols of temptation, darkness, or the unknown. Clergy emphasized animals that lived at night or showed independence as being associated with disorder. And since cats avoided submission, they clashed with a culture that valued obedience. Slowly, religious imagination turned cats into symbols of spiritual danger, not through evidence, but through fear. In 1233, Pope Gregory IX issued a document called Vox in Rama. It famously described a secret satanic ritual involving a black cat. Although historians debate its intention, the effect was clear. Fear of cats, especially black ones, intensified. Many believed cats were the preferred form of the devil. The decree didn't label all cats as evil, but in a society ruled by religious authority, even a suggestion carried enormous weight. Overnight, the image of the innocent house cat transformed into something sinister, and this belief spread through sermons, village gossip, and fear-driven imagination. As witchcraft fears grew across Europe, cats, especially female-owned cats, became entangled in accusations. Witches were said to keep familiars, spiritual helpers believed to take animal form. Cats' cleverness and independence made them perfect targets. Accusers claimed witches used cats to deliver curses or spy on enemies. Many women accused of witchcraft were punished simply for owning a feline companion. Cats themselves were burned or drowned during witch trials. The connection between women, magic, and cats became deeply rooted not because of evidence, but because fear needed a symbol. Why black cats specifically? Medieval symbolism associated the color black with night, mystery, and death. It wasn't the animal, it was the color. In visual art, demons and night spirits were often painted in dark shades, reinforcing the connection. Black cats were believed to blend into night and disappear unnaturally fast. Their stealth made them unsettling to people who feared the unknown. So when tragedy struck, crop failure, illness, sudden death, many blamed the black cat they saw the night before. It became the perfect scapegoat for anything unexplainable. During outbreaks of the bubonic plague, fear skyrocketed. People sought anything or anyone to blame. Cats, rumored to be witchcraft companions or demonic creatures, were blamed for spreading disease. The irony? Cats actually helped control rats, the real carriers of plague-ridden fleas. By killing cats out of fear, medieval communities unknowingly damaged their own defense systems. Some historians argue that superstition indirectly worsened the plague's spread. Few examples show more clearly how fear can triumph over logic, especially in a world where science was almost non-existent. Cats' natural behaviors made them look supernatural in medieval eyes. They hunted silently, navigated darkness effortlessly, and their eyes glowed in candlelight like embers. People who rarely stayed out after dark believed the nocturnal world belonged to spirits. Animals who thrived there were seen as crossing into dangerous territory. Folklore began describing cats as creatures who moved between the physical and spiritual worlds, slipping through shadows and returning before dawn. This uncanny reputation reinforced their connection to witchcraft, omens, and night spirits. Medieval bestiaries illustrated animal encyclopedias weren't scientific. They combined myth, religion, and morality. Cats were often described as creatures linked to temptation, secrecy, or sin. Some manuscripts praised them for hunting mice, but others emphasized their mysterious nature. These descriptions helped shape public perception. When literacy was low, illustrations carried enormous influence. A single image of a cat in a moralized scene could define how generations understood the animal. Bestiaries didn't always claim cats were evil, but they rarely painted them as harmless companions either. Superstitions ruled daily life. Cats crossing your path? Bad luck. A cat staring at you? A warning. A cat leaving your house suddenly? Misfortune coming. People linked everyday events to hidden forces. Cats, with their unpredictable behavior, became easy symbols for fortune or disaster. Households created rituals to prevent cat curses, like crossing themselves or reciting prayers. These ideas weren't malicious at first, but over time, they shaped fear-driven culture. When enough people believe a superstition, it begins to feel like truth, even without evidence. In folklore, cats were tricksters, sometimes protectors, sometimes omens. Some stories warned of shape-shifting cats that turned into witches at midnight. Others described spectral cats stealing a person's breath or predicting death. These tales traveled through villages by campfire, tavern whispers, and marketplace gossip. While some cultures admired cats' intelligence, many medieval Europeans treated such intelligence as a sign of magical interference. Folk tales blurred lines between myth and reality, and soon cats were seen as participants in supernatural events, rather than everyday animals living among humans. Before Christianity dominated Europe, cultures like the Norse and Celts had their own views of cats, often powerful, mystical, and respected. Norse mythology featured Freya's chariot, pulled by giant cats, symbolizing femininity and magic. Celtic folklore included guardian cats of the otherworld. When Christian influence spread, these older beliefs clashed with new religious interpretations. What once represented divine power became reinterpreted as pagan, dangerous, or unholy. Cats weren't hated because they were evil. They were feared because they carried the weight of the old world. Artists reflected cultural fears. In medieval paintings, cats often appeared beside thieves, witches, or devilish figures. They weren't the focus, just subtle symbols placed to warn viewers. A cat beside a woman implied moral danger. A cat beside a fire implied chaos. Symbolism conveyed messages people understood instinctively. These artistic associations influenced how communities viewed real cats. When the same imagery appears for generations, the symbolism becomes normalized. That's how cats became embedded in visual language, as creatures aligned with shadows and suspicion. Why did medieval people accept the idea that cats were evil? Human psychology plays a major role. In uncertain times, war, famine, plague, people search for explanations. Fear needs a target. Cats, already associated with mystery, became convenient symbols. Once communities embraced the idea collectively, it strengthened through confirmation bias. Every strange cat behavior became proof. Fear spread faster than facts. And in societies where speaking against church-led narratives was dangerous, Most people simply accepted the belief rather than question it. These beliefs weren't harmless. In many regions, cats were killed en masse, burned during festivals, drowned during witch trials, or driven out of towns. Their absence allowed rodent populations to explode, contributing to disease and crop damage. Cats weren't villains. They were victims of human misunderstanding. Their decline reveals how superstition can shape ecosystems and public health. What began as myth became policy, and this shift had lasting consequences on medieval society. The tragedy is that none of it was based on truth. Not all regions embraced the superstition. In parts of Italy, France, and the Middle East, influenced by earlier Roman and Islamic traditions, cats were valued for their ability to control pests. Monasteries sometimes kept cats to protect manuscripts from mice. Some herbalists and healers defended cats as essential partners. These pockets of protection show that beliefs varied widely. The idea of evil cats wasn't universal. It was a cultural trend shaped by local fears and religious interpretation. Without these protective communities, cat populations might have dwindled even further. As Europe transitioned into the Renaissance and Enlightenment, scientific thinking emerged. Scholars began studying disease, behavior, and nature through observation rather than superstition. Cats gradually regained their reputation as useful companions. Printed books spread new ideas quickly, challenging old folk beliefs. By the 1700s, cats were increasingly seen as protectors of homes and ships. The superstition didn't vanish overnight, but it weakened as logic slowly replaced fear. The shift reveals how worldviews change when knowledge finally enters the conversation. Even today, black cat superstitions survive in many cultures crossing your path. Halloween imagery or symbols of witchcraft. These ideas echo medieval fears. Even though society no longer believes cats are evil, but animal shelters notice patterns. Black cats are adopted less often in some regions. Superstition fades slowly. Understanding its history helps reveal how cultural myths endure long after logic replaces them. The cat's image today is a blend of ancient respect, medieval fear, and modern fascination. The real story isn't about cats, it's about humans. Medieval fear of cats reveals how easily societies fall into superstition when faced with uncertainty. It shows how stories, symbols, and authority shape belief. And it reminds us how dangerous it is to misinterpret nature. Cats were never evil. They were victims of misunderstanding, religion, fear, and folklore woven together across centuries. By studying this history, we learn how misinformation spreads and how it can affect animals, communities, and entire cultures. Today, cats are beloved companions, but their past tells a story of fear, imagination, and transformation. Understanding this journey shows us how beliefs can evolve and how important it is to question the stories we inherit. If you enjoyed diving into this strange corner of history, feel free to stay with us for the next mystery waiting just around the corner.